10 common tomato plant problems and how to fix them. Did you know that nearly 40% of home gardeners encounter tomato plant problems each season? Whether it's yellowing leaves, pests, or diseases, these issues can drastically reduce your harvest. In fact, studies show that poor plant health can decrease tomato yields by up to 60%, leading to both frustration and wasted effort. For gardeners relying on homegrown produce to supplement their groceries, this reduction can be costly, especially during peak harvest months when tomatoes should be abundant. However, addressing these problems early can significantly improve your chances of success. By learning how to identify and fix the most common issues, gardeners can increase their healthy fruit yield by 30% or more. That means fewer spoiled tomatoes, stronger plants, and better overall results in your garden. Understanding what causes these setbacks and how to prevent them can make a noticeable difference, both in your harvest and in your wallet. So let's look closely and carefully at the most common tomato plant problems, starting with one of the earliest warning signs you might see. Number 10. Yellowing leaves. Yellowing leaves on tomato plants are usually one of the first signs something is wrong. This problem can arise from various causes, such as nutrient deficiencies, overwatering, or even pests. The leaves may start to turn pale green or yellow from the bottom of the plant upward, which can be alarming if not addressed quickly. If the yellowing is due to a lack of nitrogen, the plant will likely look pale and stunted. Therefore, applying a balanced nitrogen-rich fertilizer can help restore the plant's color and vigor. However, if the yellowing is from overwatering, the soil may appear soggy and roots could begin to rot, which means reducing watering is crucial. Pests like aphids or whiteflies can also contribute to yellowing by sucking sap from the leaves. While it's tempting to spray chemical pesticides, using insecticidal soap or neem oil is a safer and environmentally friendly alternative. Regularly inspecting the underside of the leaves and promptly addressing any infestations can prevent this issue from spreading. Number 9. Blossom end rot. Blossom end rot appears as dark, sunken spots on the bottom of tomatoes and can ruin otherwise healthy-looking fruit. This condition is primarily caused by a calcium deficiency in the plant, but it's often triggered by inconsistent watering practices. The affected area may look black and leathery, and it does not recover even if conditions improve. To prevent blossom end rot, maintaining even soil moisture is essential. So, water your tomato plants consistently and add mulch to help retain soil moisture. If your soil lacks calcium, adding lime or a calcium supplement can correct the deficiency and reduce future issues. It's important to note that once a tomato is affected, the damage cannot be reversed. However, improving cultural practices can help protect future fruits. Remove affected tomatoes promptly to allow the plant to focus energy on producing healthy ones. Number 8. Cracked tomatoes. Cracked tomatoes often occur after a sudden influx of water, especially following dry periods. The tomato skin stretches rapidly and splits either vertically or in a circular pattern around the stem. Although cracked tomatoes are still edible, they are more prone to rot and pests. The key to preventing this issue lies in consistent watering. If the soil remains evenly moist, tomatoes can grow steadily without the sudden expansion that causes cracking. Mulching around the base of the plant helps regulate moisture and keeps water levels consistent. However, if cracks have already formed, it's best to harvest the fruit promptly. Leaving cracked tomatoes on the vine invites diseases and insects. While not ideal, mildly cracked tomatoes can still be used for cooking, sauces, or canning, so they don't go to waste. Number 7. Leaf curl. Leaf curl is a common yet puzzling tomato plant problem that can leave gardeners confused. The leaves may roll upward or inward and feel somewhat stiff. This curling can be caused by environmental stress, such as heat, wind, or inconsistent watering. If the leaf curl is due to environmental factors, it's usually temporary and does not significantly affect the plant's health. However, if accompanied by yellowing or stunted growth, a virus may be involved. In such cases, it's important to remove and dispose of the affected plant to prevent spread. Therefore, maintaining a stable environment with regular watering and providing shade during peak sun can reduce stress-related leaf curl. Additionally, avoiding over-fertilization and monitoring for insect pests will help keep the foliage healthy and green. Number 6. Wilting plants. Wilting is a serious symptom that something may be very wrong with your tomato plants. It can happen during the heat of the day, but should recover in the evening. However, if wilting persists, it could indicate root damage, disease, or severe underwatering. One cause of wilting is fungal diseases such as fusarium or verticillium wilt, which block the water flow within the plant. These diseases are soil-borne and can persist for years. If identified, it's best to remove and destroy the affected plants and avoid planting tomatoes in the same area. Alternatively, wilting from lack of water is reversible if caught early. Water the plant deeply and check for proper drainage. While wilted plants may bounce back, repeated stress can weaken them permanently, so timely action is essential. Number 5. Tomato hornworms. Tomato hornworms are large, green caterpillars that can decimate your tomato plants almost overnight. They blend in easily with the foliage, but leave obvious signs like chewed leaves and missing stems. These pests are especially active in warm, humid weather. If you spot one hornworm, there are likely more, so check the plant thoroughly. Handpicking them is an effective and immediate control method. While it may be unpleasant, this approach is safe and avoids chemical use. Alternatively, using biological controls like Bacillus thuringiensis, BT, can target caterpillars without harming beneficial insects. Regularly inspecting your plants and taking prompt action will protect your harvest from these hungry invaders. Number 4. Early blight. Early blight is a fungal disease that causes dark, concentric spots on lower leaves, followed by yellowing and leaf drop. It thrives in warm, wet conditions and spreads quickly, especially if the foliage remains damp. The disease can reduce yield and stress the plant. To manage early blight, remove affected leaves and avoid overhead watering. Watering at the base of the plant keeps leaves dry and reduces the spread. Mulching also helps by preventing soil from splashing onto leaves during rain or irrigation. If the infection becomes severe, applying a fungicide may be necessary. However, rotating crops and choosing resistant varieties are more sustainable long-term solutions. Therefore, practicing good garden hygiene is key to preventing future outbreaks. Number 3. Late blight. Late blight is a devastating disease that causes brown, water-soaked spots on leaves, stems, and fruit. It spreads rapidly during cool, moist weather and can destroy entire crops if not addressed. The affected areas may also show white fungal growth in humid conditions. If you suspect late blight, remove and destroy infected plants immediately. Do not compost them, as the spores can survive and reinfect later crops. While this disease is challenging to control, acting fast can help contain its spread. Preventive fungicide applications may be necessary in areas prone to late blight. Rotate crops and space tomato plants properly to ensure good air circulation. Therefore, keeping the foliage dry and reducing humidity are your best defenses. Number 2. Fruit splitting. Fruit splitting is similar to cracking, but typically results in deep, jagged breaks that expose the flesh. It often happens after heavy rains following a dry spell. The fruit swells rapidly, but the skin can't keep up, so it tears open. To avoid splitting, maintain a steady watering schedule and avoid letting the soil dry out too much. Using mulch helps regulate moisture and protects the roots. If rain is expected after a dry period, try to water the plants ahead of time to ease the transition. While split tomatoes are still usable, they should be harvested and consumed quickly. Otherwise, they become entry points for insects and fungi. Therefore, it's important to check plants regularly, especially after sudden weather changes. Number 1. No flowers or fruit. A tomato plant that looks lush but produces no flowers or fruit can be frustrating. This issue often results from excessive nitrogen, poor pollination, or extreme temperatures. The plant may grow tall and leafy, but fail to develop blossoms or fruit. Reducing nitrogen and using a fertilizer high in phosphorus can encourage blooming. While too much shade can hinder flowering, tomatoes need full sun for at least 6 to 8 hours a day. If temperatures are too hot or too cold, flowering may pause until conditions improve. Pollination is another key factor. If bees or wind aren't, Doing the job, you can hand pollinate using a small brush or by gently shaking the plant. Therefore, creating the right conditions for flower production is crucial for a successful harvest.